Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, in this tutorial we're gonna do this scarf. I was debating if I should show you the stitch or just send you to the tutorial, because I do some items with the stitches that I have in on my channel. This is called the Trinity stitch. It's really nice. It's reversible, the stitch. You can do scarves, you can do shawls, you can do hats, you can do anything you like with this stitch. Well, this scarf I chained 24 chains. This stitch works with multiples of 2, so I chained 24. You're gonna choose to make the scarf as wide as you like. It's, you know, whatever, it's up to you. You choose if you like to put fringes, tassels, this kind of things. Well, I kept the other side of the scarf, just 2 spaces here to show you how to attach some tassels, if some of you are interested. Yeah, this is kind of rough. It's really weird, the yarn. Well, I had another scarf with these colors for autumn, and I like this color so much that I had to go buy some more yarn of this because it's really beautiful. Okay, this stitch. So you choose how many chains you want to put. Yeah, just keep it multiples of 2. Well, for this scarf you're gonna need yarn, of course. You choose whatever yarn you like to use. Yeah, you're gonna need a crochet hook, and the yarn will recommend what kind of number of the crochet hook you should use, and some scissors, and maybe a bigger crochet hook in case you want to attach the tassels, wide enough that will hold all the strands to pull through. Depends how thick or thin is the yarn. You're gonna use a bigger one for thick yarn and a, well, not so big for a thin yarn. Okay, so this stitch works with multiples of 2, so you're gonna chain multiples of 2. I'm gonna do a small chain here. So let's say you want to make a scarf, so you're gonna chain maybe from 24, depends on the size of the yarn. If it's thick, then you're gonna chain maybe 24 or 26. If it's thinner, maybe you're gonna have to chain 30, 32, depends on the size of the yarn. Yeah. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start chaining multiples of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, just to make it short. Well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna skip the first chain from the hook, this one, and in the second chain from the hook we're gonna go in there and we're gonna do a single crochet. Then we're gonna go back into this second chain where we did this single crochet. We're gonna insert our hook in there, pull up a loop, move to the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Move to the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook. Then grab the yarn and pull the yarn through all these 4 loops. Then chain 1. When you chain this one, make it loose, and you will understand why, unless you like to yell at the yarn when you try to get into this one. So now we're gonna go back into the last chain that we worked. So we're gonna go in there and I'm gonna pull up a loop, move to the next chain, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook. Move to the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops. Then grab the yarn and pull the yarn through all 4 loops. Then chain 1. And you're gonna do like this until the end of the row. So we go back into the last chain that we worked. So we're gonna insert our hook there, pull up a loop, move to the next chain, pull up a loop, move to the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, and then you're gonna pass the yarn through all these 4 loops, then chain 1. So again, we're gonna go back into the last chain that we worked. So insert your hook in there, pull up a loop, move to the next chain, and you're gonna pull up a loop. You have 3 loops, and you have 1 chain left. You go into the last chain, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook. Pull the yarn through all these 4 loops, then chain 2. So 1 and 2, turn your work. And now this, we have the 2 chain. The first chain that we made, we're gonna go in there, into that first chain, and you're gonna do a single crochet. Then we're gonna go back into the same chain, and we're gonna pull up a loop. We have 2 loops. Move to the next stitch, and you're gonna pull up a loop. Move to the next stitch, and pull up a loop. You should always have 4 loops on your hook. Then pull the yarn through all these 4 loops, then chain 1. Try to leave this one when you chain 1 now. Leave it loose because it's really a pain if it's too tight. Yeah. So again, we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked, and we're gonna pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook. Pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 1. And you're gonna do like this until you finish the row. So we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked. Pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch. You have 4 loops. Pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 1. And you go back again into the last stitch that you worked. Pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop. The last stitch is here, this one. So we're gonna go in there, and we're gonna pick up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 2. Well, this one, if you work too tight, leave it a little bit loose, because we're gonna do the single crochet in this first chain. So you chain 2, turn your work. So we have the first and the second. Let's say this is the first chain. So you go into that chain, pick up a loop, and then you're gonna do a single crochet. Then we go back into the same chain, the first chain that we did, pick up a loop, move to the next stitch, pick up a loop, move to the next stitch, pick up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 1. And you're gonna do like this on and on and on. You go back into the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, next stitch, pull up a loop, next stitch. So you have 4 loops. Pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 1. And you're gonna do like this until you finish the row. You chain 1. You go back into the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, next stitch, pull up a loop. The last stitch is here. You go in there, pick up a loop, 4 loops, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 2. Turn your work. I think I'm gonna do this row and then I'm gonna finish showing you the stitch. So again, we chain 2. So we're gonna go into the first chain that we did. This is the second one. So in the first chain, we're gonna go in there. You pick up a loop, then grab the yarn and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Well, you do a single crochet. Then we go back into the same chain where we did this single crochet, and we're gonna pick up a loop, go to the next stitch, pick up a loop, go to the next stitch, pick up a loop. When you have 4 loops on your hook, then pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 1. And you're gonna do like this. It's important to go into the last stitch that you worked, otherwise the count is not gonna be right. So you go like this. Next stitch, 3 loops on the hook, move to the next stitch, 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, chain 1, and you go back into the stitch that you worked last. You pull up a loop, next stitch, pull up a loop, the last stitch is here. You go in there, you pick up a loop, 4 loops, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, then chain 2. You turn your work, and the first chain that you did, you go in there and you're gonna do a single crochet first, then you go back into the same that chain and you pick up a loop, move to the next stitch, pick up a loop, next stitch until you have 4 loops. Then you pass the yarn through those 4 loops, then you chain 1, and so on. You can leave it like this, or let's try to finish this one. So if you want to, you don't like the way it is, let's say, maybe you will choose to do a single crochet in each stitch across the row, but that means it's gonna be different, the top with the bottom. So I think it looks nice the way it is. You don't need to do a single crochet when you finish, unless you want to. So you chain 1, you turn your work, and if you want, you can do single crochet in each stitch across the row until you finish the row, if you like. But I don't think it's needed. So if you are to do the single crochet, let's say, when you chain that 1 chain at the end, well, chain 2, and then you go into the first, I would say, into the first chain that you did, you go in there and you do a single crochet, then you move to the next stitch and do a single crochet, and so on. In each stitch you're gonna do single crochet if you like. Otherwise, if you don't chain at the end 2 and you do a single crochet in the first chain, this is gonna be like this. Yeah, it's kind of looks like decreasing. Okay, well, let's say you want to, you know, to attach your tassels. I'm sure by now, you know, it's not hard to figure out how to finish a, you know, a scarf. You just cut the yarn when you finish, hide the tail, and that's about it. So for this scarf, I put, for example, 5 strands of yarn. Yeah, you choose how many you want. You put them as best as you can, like this. Put it in half. Well, now I don't remember which one. I think I'm gonna take the, well, with this crochet hook, it's number 10. You're not gonna be able to see this, but it's 10.0 millimeter crochet hook. So it's wide enough here, the hook, that I can pass all this and hold. Yeah. So you put the yarn in half like this. You go into the stitch. For example, for this one, I chose to skip 2 stitches. Yeah, and in the 3rd stitch, I will go in there and I will, I would say, attach the, introduce this there. Sometimes you're gonna have to put a lot of force. So you pick up the strings, kind of give it a twist like this a little bit if you can. Then you pull this, all this through that hole, and make sure that you don't lose any, because you see this one, it's already trying to run away from me. So when you do this, you have a loop here. So you put your fingers through the loop, and then you pick up the tail, and then you pull the tail through the loop, and then you pull the, and I lost one. You see? So even with this big one, you might lose it. So you have to go back. It's very easy to take this apart. So if you made a mistake or you don't like the way it looks, you just go here and you open like this. Yeah, and it comes out very easy. It's no, don't stress about if you, for example, like I did, I lost one. Yeah, put it back again and try to do it again. So you do this. Hey, stay there. Yeah, this is very soft and it's running away from me, and this is plastic, this crochet hook. It's weird. Do I have all of them? Yeah. Well, sometimes it might happen. So you have a loop. You put your fingers through the loop, bring the tail, and put the tail through the loop, and then you pull, and you have it there. Yeah. So again, you're gonna take another, well, as many as you like to put, like this. You put it in half, then you, just to show you how to attach this one. So you put that, kind of give it a twist like this, and try to pick up. Hey, come here. All right. Now just have patience. It's all that you need. So you have a loop. Put your fingers through the loop. Pick the tail, pull the tail through the loop, and then you pull. And that's about it. And if you can see here, I didn't pay attention to the face of the scarf, how we attach the other things. If you look, this is different. It looks different than this one's. And if you turn it like this, so you're gonna have to pay attention to make sure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take apart, and then I'm gonna put it the right way. So I have to attach it this way. Yeah. So well, this is the scarf. You can do this scarf. It's called, the stitch is called Trinity stitch. So you can do this stitch if you like, for a scarf, for a shawl. Looks really nice. This is a very soft yarn. It's really nice, this one. So, well, this one is not cut. This one I cut as best as I could. My husband is not home because he's the one that cuts. I cut as best as I could, but I'm sure my husband gonna say, oh my good Lord, what did you do? And you're gonna have to cut this to the same, height. It's kind of rough and weird. So, well, this is the scarf, the Trinity stitch. If you like this stitch, you can give it a try and make a scarf. But I think if you choose a soft yarn, this is wool with acrylic. But if you choose to have a very soft yarn, I don't think you need the tassels, to be honest. Will just look and fold really nice, the scarf. So, well, if you like this stitch, give it a try and make something nice with it. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.